What are you seeing from Kedon right now?
Thanks, but he had a great practice. So like I said, Kedon's been good since we've been here, and excited to watch him play.
There's obviously a different game plan after halftime. Will you open things up for him this week the same way you were if JT was in there?
Yeah, we game plan the same, and you just got to do whatever puts you in the best position to win against any opponent. So we game plan doesn't change. Like I said, it'll change based on the opponent, but not based on our personnel.
Aside from obvious game experience, how are Kedon and JT different as players?
They're a lot different as players. I think the mentality is a lot different. Their skill level is a lot different. What they bring to the table is a lot different. So, like I said, they're very different players, but they both played at a high level ever since spring. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm excited about. And like I said, you hate to see someone get hurt, no matter who it is. And so obviously I feel terrible for JT, and he was having a heck of a half other than the turnovers. So, you hate it for JT, but the season goes on. You got to continue to play, and we've had a ton of confidence in Kedon since he's been here. So, again, I'm excited to watch him play.
What happened on the interception at the goal line? It looked like he threw into triple coverage, and on the other side, neither guy looked like they were catch the ball.
Yeah, it's really
what
a run
exactly
play.
Happened?
That was a run pass option, so they were blocking because they were blocking for the run on the other side.
Okay.
And he made a poor decision. I think the snap was bobbled,
right.
And so it kind of took his eyes away from the defense, and then just made a bad decision. But like I said, bad decisions happen. Other than that, I thought he'd had a heck of a half. I don't know what his numbers were, but moving the ball up and down the field, and like I said, regardless of if the ball's ever been bobbled or not, you got to continue to make good decisions, and I think he knows that. And it might have been too late to hand it off, but you can throw it away, or that's the thing. Sometimes throwing a ball away is the best decision you can make, and so you just have to, as a quarterback, that's part of the job, but it's also part of the learning process. You know what I mean? He's had a season, but he's still learning, and like I said, I think you're always learning. So the more experience you have, the better you'll play, and so. Like I said, that was an opportunity for him to learn, and I'm sure he will learn from it.
When you first took this job and you turned off the film and watched Kedon, what was your first impression of him?
I didn't know much about Kedon until spring, honestly, and then tried to come in with a clean slate on all the guys. And but that's the thing, when you first watch him throw, he's a really talented passer. Fundamentally, he's very sound. The ball jumps out of his hand, and so his talent level definitely gives him a chance to be really successful. And then from there, it's going to come down to decision making. He's going to have to make good decisions, but that's what practice for. And again, he had a heck of a spring and did some really good things all camp. And so we expect him to make good decisions. And I'm sure there's going to be times when he makes some mistakes and he's going to do some things that you wish he wouldn't do. But that's with most quarterbacks. Like I said, JT had a year of experience under his belt and made some, the interception makes a decision you wish you wouldn't make. But the more experience you get, the better you're going to be as a player. And so, like I said, at times he's probably going to make some freshman mistakes, and we're going to have to live with those and overcome those if he does. But like I said, I got a ton of confidence in him. He's a talented guy and a great guy to work with. And so excited about, like I said, the opportunity to watch him.
You remarked the other week that Kedon was as talented as you've ever been around. You played with Aaron Rodgers. I was wondering, did you mean that in the sense of a college kid or a freshman? What did you mean by that?
Throwing the ball, he's extremely talented, and that's what I say. He's talented. As far as the passer goes, he's got as good of an arm as I've seen, and he can make any throw out there that he can make throws that most people can't make. Again, with him, we just have to try to do our best to help get him making the right decisions every time, and if he does that, he's going to be a fun kid to watch.
With the success of a guy like the Knicks kid at Auburn, or the Bachmar kid at Boise State, does that help? His attitude going in there, true freshman that just go out and make.
I have no idea who that is, so.
You been hearing those kids?
No.
Okay.
So I don't know. You have to ask Kedon.
Did you plan to rotate more wide receivers on Saturday?
I think that with practice, we practice at an extremely fast pace, and so they got in really good shape. And then when the game goes on, sometimes the refs slow it down, and so the receivers, I guess, just felt fresh in the whole game. But going through a full season, I think the game plan would be to rotate those guys a lot more. We just didn't. Again, we were kind of letting them police themselves, because in practice that's kind of what we do. and they felt fresh. And so they said coach was a lot slower than what we're used to. So we got to do a better job as a staff. Like I said, trying to make sure that, because like, if you're playing 85 plays a game, it's going to be hard to make it through a season, probably, honestly. So we'll do a nice job. Like I said, we got to do a good job of making sure that we're realizing how much they're playing and getting guys in there and getting fresh legs in there at times. But like I've said since I've been here, that receiver group's a special group. They love to compete, and you think surely they can't run anymore, and they just keep running. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're like racehorses. I compare them to that all the time. But when you let them loose, they just run and they go, and they're fun to watch. And so, but yeah, I would expect to see more guys getting in there throughout the season, and as a staff, we have to do that.
What
Graham,
can
you
Marquis
mentioned
step?
that JT and Kedon's mindset or their mentality was a little different. Could you expound on that? Where are they different in terms of their mentality?
I think more personality is probably I don't know what I said, but personality is more probably what I'm talking about. And Kedon's kind of like a young, smiley, plays a lot, and I mean that kind of guy. Where JT is more quiet, and I mean, like I said, they're just very different being around them, and I think interacting with players and stuff like that, they're very different people. But like I said, they both played at a high level, and there's no right way to act or wrong way to act. I think you got to be yourself, and that's what I think both of them do a good job of doing. Is it's not JT's personality to be a raw leader or a loud guy, but I think he can lead in his own way, and he just acts as himself, and you can't try to be someone you're not. So JT did a good job of that. Where where Kedon's a little more talkative, upbeat. He doesn't mind kind of trying to get the group going, and he does a good job, like I said, not trying to be anyone he's not, and he does it in his own way. But personality-wise, like I said, I just think they're very different kids. They're both fun to be around, and like I said, I think they can both be great football players.
What will Marquis step need to do to break the rotation?
I think Marquis had a great fall, and in any game, but in our offense, in anything, you try to feed the hot hand. Both those two, the other two running backs were playing really well, and we had plans to get Keith's carries. And then, like I said, just Vi and Carr were both playing at a high level, and then we're getting lots of touches. But when they were getting touches, we're being special with the football. And so, like I said, they just kind of like those receivers. They were hot, and they weren't feeling too tired. Carr gets a little more tired, but Vi never gets tired. You know what I mean? And so. It's hard to take them off the field when they're playing at a high level, and when they're not, if they're still fresh enough to go. So, with that being the case, like I said, those two guys just kind of took the load of the reps. But Keith has been as good as anybody with the ball in his hands, I think, all fall camp. And so we had plans of getting the ball, and just like I said, when you get rolling, the rotation we kind of ended up falling how it fell, and that's what happened. But that's the thing. We preach being great teammates, and regardless of your role or whatever, each game, your role is probably going to change. And we still expect guys to have great attitudes and come out here and compete every day, and and be great teammates. And that's kind of what we preach to them, what we expect from them. And we have a special group of guys that do a really good job of that.